Good morning, everyone. I am Chanel K. Montebon, and I am going to continue the report on information systems, organization, and strategy. But first things first, let us define what do we mean by competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is defined as the factors that allow a company to produce better quality of goods or services, or it could be selling it cheaper than their competitors. But I believe that there are other factors aside from the cost and quality of the products. Because, say for example, Toyota, it is known as the leader in the automobile industry. And I don't think Toyota has the cheapest cost. And as well as it, I don't also think that it has the highest quality when it comes to automobiles. But there is a different factor that connotes its competitive advantage. And I believe that is the availability of its parts whenever magka-problem, 'di ba? Ang usually ginasabi ng mga buyers na, ay Toyota ang bilhin mo kasi kapag nagka-problema sa car, available lang yung product sa open market. But how can we really support the idea na yung Toyota is really having competitive advantage because of this notion? Dito na ngayon papasok si Michael Porter's competitive forces model. Michael Porter's competitive forces model provides a general view of the firm, its competitors, and environment. And according to Michael Porter, there are five competitive forces that shape the fate of the firm. And these are the traditional competitors, the new market entrants, substitute products and services, customers, and suppliers. So, first we have the traditional competitors. All firms share market space with competitors who are continuously devising new products or services, efficiencies, and switching costs. So when we say switching costs, this is the cost incurred when a customer chooses the products of the competitors. So the more that a company will spend for switching costs, the more that they can retain or attract customer loyalty. Another competitive force, according to Michael Porter, is a new market entrance. So some industries have high barriers to entry, for example, computer chip business. Kasi yung computer chips, they tend to have big, expensive cost, and also you need to have an experience when you enter this type of business. Another example is Idafo Light and other monopolies. So I don't think Davao Light is really concerned with new market entrants because it is monopolizing the power industry in Davao. But what happens if magkaroon ng new market entrance? So doon na papasok yung strategies on how to deal with competitive forces, which we will discuss later. New companies have new equipment, younger workers, but the thing is they have little brand recognition. So they can tell their customers that they can provide better service or better goods because they have new equipment. But the thing is, they don't have funding, so they rely on outside external forces to fund this new equipment. They also have younger workers, younger inexperienced workers, pero syempre maliit yung cost nila sa salaries. They just have to ensure that the younger inexperienced workers are innovative so that they can help with their problem in their little brand recognition. Third is substitute products and services. So substitutes customers might use if your prices become too high. For example, iTunes substitutes for CDs. So 'di ba, before we would just rent ng mga CDs sa Video City or sa mga Musliman. So, ngayon, we can watch movies or listen to music sa ating phones or sa ating TVs. So, ito na ngayon yung substitute products and services dito sa mga old school na technology. Next, competitive force is customers. So, can customers easily switch to competitors' products? Can they force businesses to compete on price alone, in a transparent marketplace. So this is actually the bargaining power of the customers. And for the company to retain or attract their customers, aside from increasing their switching cost, they can also use the strategy of product differentiation, which again will be discussed later sa strategies. And lastly, we have suppliers. So kung merong bargaining power yung customers, meron ding bargaining power ang suppliers. So it is the market power of suppliers when firm cannot raise prices as fast as suppliers. So it can be either or. Either the company tells the suppliers to lower their prices because another supplier is giving them or offering them a lower price. So this usually happens when a company is confident na marami siyang suppliers. But the tables will be turned kung yung suppliers naman, siya lang mag-isa. So, the suppliers may tend to take advantage or overprice kasi alam niya na kahit pa increase niya yung price, yung company will still buy from the products na ino-offer ng suppliers. So here you can see the Porter's competitive forces model, and within this diagram, we can see that the firm is at par with its traditional competitors. So they monitor each other when it comes to revenues, market share, their products. So tinututukan talaga nila yung isa't isa. And then there are the external factors according to Michael Porter, the new market entrants, suppliers, substitute products, and customers. So now how do we deal, or what are the information strategies that we can use to deal with the five competitive forces? According to Michael Porter, there are four generic strategies for dealing with competitive forces enabled by using information technology. As these are low cost leadership, product differentiation, focus on market niche, strengthen customer and supplier intimacy. So first is low-cost leadership. Produce products and services at a lower price than competitors. Example for that is Walmart's efficient customer response system. So aside from it ensuring that the company will have lower cost, they can also ensure that they can provide efficient customer response. So it is true that they will incur cost for getting the information system, but the cost of getting it is lower than the cost of their overhead. So since makakasave sila sa overhead, they will now generate more revenue, which makes them the leader in their industry. Another strategy is product differentiation. So yun nga, in order for a company to retain or attract customers, they will do product differentiation. They enable new products or services or to greatly change customer convenience and experience. Example si Google. Di ba before, boring tingnan talaga yung Google Maps. So, ngayon gumawa si Google ng Street View. We can see our houses na sa Google Maps, but it is not really updated. Pero yung streets, we can see that it is accurate. Another example is Nike. So Nike sa website niya, you can customize the shoes that you want, what color, what design, everything about it you can customize. And dito na naman papasok si mass customization because the website of Nike receives mass requests from customers na iba-iba yung gusto. So these requests or orders of the customers will be forwarded by the website or the system, the information system of Nike to its manufacturing plants in China and Korea. And then dito na mangyayari yung mass customization. Si Apple naman, it is very known for its product differentiation. Yearly, meron siyang updates. Meron na namang bagong 13 Pro. So sa 13 Pro, wala siya masyadong difference sa 12 except for nagkaroon siya ng offer ng 1 terabyte. Third strategy to deal with competitive forces is to focus on market niche. So use information systems to enable a focused strategy on a single market niche or to specialize. So example is Hilton Hotels. on-queue system. So, the on-queue system of Hilton Hotel is sinasala niya yung data provided by the customers. This information system will then capture its most profitable or pinakamayayaman yung customers. And then after identifying those specific na single market, na ito yung market ng mga mayayamang customers, raratratan niya yun ni Hilton Hotel ng iba't ibang offers for them to gain revenue and at the same time, create strong ties with that um, uh, customer. So next is strengthen customer and supplier intimacy. So use information systems to develop strong ties and loyalty with customers and suppliers. And pumasok na naman si increased switching cost. So ulit, switching cost is the cost incurred by the company when a customer chooses the products of the competitor. So the more that the company will spend on switching costs, the more that they can retain or attract customer loyalty. Examples of strengthening customer and supplier intimacy is si Chrysler. So si Chrysler, um, meron siyang system kung saan yung suppliers nakikita nila kung ano yung mga products na konti na lang or kailangan na ng supplies. So the suppliers can even decide on when and how to do uh, the uh, the distribution or pag-provide nila ng supplies kay Chrysler. Another example kay Amazon, Amazon creates strong customer intimacy based on the data that they receive from its customers. So they analyze the data and then based on that, they make recommendations, they provide promos, whatever mga discounts to to have that strong customer intimacy between Amazon and its customers. And also Starbucks, which was in the previous slides. So I will not discuss this slide because I don't know what is the reference for this, and we will now proceed with internet's impact on competitive advantage. So it could be a transformation or it could be a threat to some industries. Examples is a travel agency. Diba before we would still have to go to a travel agent to book our flights, to book our accommodations, to book our tours. But with the presence of the internet, we can all do it ourselves. We can now book our own flights, we can now book our own accommodations, and sometimes we don't even need tours because we can just, again, do it ourselves. Kasi so much travel information is available in the internet. Printed encyclopedia also. So before, hardbound encyclopedias are being sold sa mga bookstores, sa schools. Minsan nagbabahay-bahay yung ibang agents. But now, Wikipedia, which is a tap of a finger sa Google, information that we need, makikita na natin. And then the media. So, di ba, kahit na shutdown yung ABS-CBN, we can still actually watch Provinciano sa YouTube. So, it is available. And then yung mga newspapers and magazines, others nag-continue pa rin ng hard copies, but meron ding mga companies na they have fully developed na ng electronic magazines and electronic newspapers. So competitive forces are still at work, but rivalry is more intense because they are now using the same internet, the same information is available. So mas grabe kasi iisa lang yung nakukuha nilang information. And it depends on how they use the information available on the internet. Universal standards allow new rivals and entrance to market. So yung mga businesses na planong pumasok sa market, if they want to have an idea, they can just it is some information are available on the internet, especially if they focus on a certain established company. So they can even copy it and retaliate it and use it as an inspiration for their entrance to the market or the industry na papasukin nila. And new opportunities for building brands and loyal customer bases. So ngayon, social media. So you can just post or build your brands on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then create customer bases, allow them to provide reviews, and you can give feedback. So there is so much impact on competitive advantage because of the internet. Smart products and the Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things is the growing use of internet-connected sensors in products. So na-feel natin yan during the pandemic kasi gumagamit na tayo ng QR code. And then we also have smart products, fitness equipment, health trackers, you have smartwatches, smartphones also have tracking for our steps, even organ donation. So, uh, because of smart products and the use of internet. And then expand product differentiation opportunities. Again, this will increase rivalry between competitors. So, example, oo nga si Apple, nag-create siya every year ng product differentiation. But at the same time, di din naman nagpapatalo si Samsung and the other companies. They will also create product differentiation. And again, this will increase rivalry. So another is, pumasok na naman si raising switching cost. So ulit, switching cost is a cost incurred by a company when a customer chooses the products of its competitors. And the more that the company will spend on switching costs, the more that they can attract or retain their customers. And then inhibit new entrants. So some companies na gustong pumasok sa isang specific industry may use the internet as an advantage for them to copy ang isang established na company. But others may also hindi na kapag once they get the information and they see na ay sobrang expensive kung itutuloy ko ang pagpasok na ito kasi itong company na ito ganito yung information system niya. So, meron din siyang effect na gano'n na di na lang tutuloy yung mga papasok sa industry because of the information systems used by a specific company or ng mga company sa industry na yun. And then there is also decreasing the power of suppliers. So, di ba, companies can get information of the prices of the products sa internet. They can just Google it or search for it. So, ngayon, yung suppliers, they will lose the chance or to take advantage um, ng kanilang mga customers. Di na nila i-overprice kasi they may lose the customers kasi nga may idea na yung customer na ganito lang yung prices kasi nakita na niya sa internet. So again, this will not also be discussed because I don't know what's the reference for this. And we'll just proceed with the business value chain model. So the difference between the Porter's competitive forces model and the business value chain model is that Porter's competitive forces model focuses on the 5 competitive forces and the 4 generic strategies on how to deal with these competitive forces. But it doesn't really tell us how to do it. So dito na ngayon, pumasok si business value chain model, which gives the methodology on how to do things in order for a company to achieve competitive advantage. So it sees the firm as a series of activities that add value to products or services, and it highlights activities where competitive strategies can best be applied. So meron dalawang activities, primary and support activities. So primary activities, it involves logistics, operations, sales and marketing and service. And support activities, from the name itself, it supports the primary activities. It includes procurement, HR, admin, and technology. So each stage, each activity, they have their own information systems to improve operational efficiency and customer and supplier intimacy. And they can even use benchmarking and industry best practices. So sa BIR, we have benchmarking na kung saan ang isang company or isang industry ay meron siyang benchmark na ito yung kailangan niyang bayaran na taxes. So once ng isang company sa isang industry hindi niya ma-reach yun, there is a risk for them to be under audit. So I don't know if the other agencies also have that, but yun yung sa BAR. So this is the value chain model. As mentioned, there are 2 activities, the primary activities and the support activities. So this is within the firm or the organization. Primary activities include logistics, both inbound and outbound, and then operations, sales and marketing and service, and then the support activities, which supports the primary activities, are the admin, HR, technology, and procurement. And then if we extend the value chain, we can see that it is linked to the chain of suppliers, distributors, and customers. And there is also an industry value chain wherein various companies in the same industry will create a quorum, a consortium, a symposia, and they will have or parang magkakaroon sila or magkakaintindihan sila na gumawa tayo ng industry standards for us to provide the best or the high quality products and services to our customers, and also to prevent the new market entrance. Kasi nga, if example, may na-set up na industry standard, tapos it is very high, uh, with a very high cost for a new market entrance, and they would not be able to afford it. And then there is also um, the value web. Wait, wait lang. There are two pala customer. Okay. Dito sa information system, I forgot to mention, there are two most common system applications that result from a business value chain analysis. So first is the supply chain management systems that coordinate the flow of resources into the firm. And second is the customer relationship management systems that coordinate the sales and support employees with your customers. So, yun yung nakalimutan ko. And then, the value web is a collection of independent firms using highly synchronized information technology to coordinate value chains to produce product or service collectively. It is more customer driven and it operates in a less linear fashion than the traditional value chain. So this is the value web. And we can see that it is a network systems of the value chains of business partners like suppliers, customers, and strategic alliance and partner firms within the same industry, various companies within the same industry, for them to respond rapidly to changes in supply and demand. So synergies. So information systems can now improve the overall performance of these business units by promoting synergies and core competencies. So when the output of some units are used as input to others, or organization pool markets and expertise, then this is now synergies. An example of this is the merger of the Bank of New York and the JP Morgan Chase and the purchase of YouTube by Google. So their inputs of YouTube na kailangan ni Google, or there are also inputs of Bank of New York na kailangan ni JP Morgan Chase and vice versa. So core competencies is it is an activity for which a firm will become a world-class leader. So in general, it relies on knowledge, experience, and sharing this across business units. Example for this is Procter& Gamble's Intranet and Directory of Subject Matter Experts. So si Procter& Gamble, meron siyang intranet called InnovationNet, wherein dito, yung subject matter experts can provide information to to a member of to a part to the employees or the management of Procter& Gamble kung ano man yung questions or concerns nila. And also available dito yung mga charts, data, or any information na needed. So if a certain employee or management has a concern or a question, then they can post it in that intranet, and a subject matter expert or an employee or someone who knows the answer will provide it. And others worldwide others all over the world who has the same problem will be able to see it and find the solution to the problems. So next is network-based strategies. So the availability of the internet and networking technology have inspired strategies that take advantage of the firm's abilities to network with one another. This include the use of network economics, virtual company model, and business ecosystems. Network economics, um, ito yung when the marginal cost of adding a new participant is almost zero, pero yung marginal gain is much greater. The value of the community grows in size, the value of the software grows as installed customer base grows, and it is the opposite when you compare it to the traditional economics and law of diminishing returns. So, di ba, sa law of diminishing returns, the more customers is believed na the lesser naman yung mapro-provide na efficiency and effectiveness ng isang company ng company's product and services. So the network of economics is not it does not follow this idea. Kasi the example for this, for us to better understand it, is yung mga cable TV providers. So no matter how many ang kanilang subscribers, their costs will remain the same. But the more na meron silang subscribers, the more ang kanilang income. So the same with the TV companies. Um, kahit kahit na marami or konti lang yung manood sa kanila, they will have the same cost, and it is actually better for them to have more viewers kasi more viewers would be helpful for their parang rating. So the more will they have mga advertisements kapag ganun. And the next example of a network-based strategy is the virtual company model. So a virtual company is when a company uses networks to ally with other companies. So the virtual company creates and distributes products without being limited by traditional organizational boundaries or physical locations. Example for this is Li and Feng. Li and Feng manages production and shipment of garments for major fashion companies, including Guess. So it outsources all work to thousands of suppliers. Li and Feng does not have any equipment, it does not have any warehouse, it does not have any workforce. But how it works is that in its extranet, its customers will place an order, and then its extranet will forward this to its um, huge and thousands of suppliers, outsourced suppliers. So, yung suppliers na yun yung gagawa ng mga orders ng kanilang customers. And basically, Li and Feng is now the virtual company. Then we have the business ecosystems and platforms. Industry sets of firms providing related services and products. So it's like the idea of the value web. Kaya lang yung value web, it is different companies on the same industry. Si business ecosystems and platforms, various industries and the same industry ecosystem. So, ganun siya. So, example, si Microsoft and Facebook, they have keystone firms and niche firms. So, yung keystone firms nila, Intel, IBM, ganun. Niche firms naman nila include thousands of software application firms, software developers, service firms, networking firms, consulting firms that both support and rely on Microsoft and Facebook. So individual firms can consider how information technology will help them become profitable niche players in larger ecosystems. So it's like hindi magsi-stand alone yung Microsoft or yung phone mo na Apple without the other industry players. So example, you buy a phone, but it doesn't have an internet, so it wouldn't still be of use to you. Pero yung internet, hindi naman siya gawa ni Apple. So it's an interconnection of different industries, but they have the same industry ecosystem. And also, yung mga apps ng nasa App Store or nasa Play Store, di naman siya gawa ni Apple or ni Android, but it is created by the software developers. So, so yun siya. Different um, industries operating in the same industry ecosystem. So this is its diagram. So different industries, one, two, three, four, and then they still have the same external competitive forces. The new market entrants, suppliers, substitute products and services, and customers. So, what are the challenges posed by strategic information systems? First, we have to sustain how to sustain competitive advantage. So, as mentioned earlier, competitors can retaliate and copy strategic systems, and this can be used by new market entrants or even traditional competitors to their advantage. Systems that used to be strategic become tools for survival. Lalo na kung ang isang company parang naging di na siya nag-upgrade or hindi na siya nag-improve ng kanyang information system kasi confident na siya, ay, may information system na ako. But then, technology is always changing. Di na siya nagbago ng kanyang ginagamit na information system. But technology for the new market entrance is newer and better. So, matatalo pa rin siya and may possibly be gone out of business. Next is aligning information technology with business objectives. So, to align with the business and use information systems effectively for competitive advantage, managers need to perform strategic systems analysis, including the analysis of the structure of the industry and the firm value chains. And lastly is to manage strategic transitions. Adopting strategic systems requires changes in business goals, relationships with customers and suppliers, and business processes. And these changes are actually the strategic transitions. So, to end this discussion, implementing strategic systems often require extensive organizational change, and these are strategic transitions. What I can really impart from this topic is that uh, information systems is very much useful for a company to achieve competitive advantage, but they shouldn't just stop there na ay meron na kaming information system. We can now have competitive advantage because technology is always changing. So what the what companies or firms or organizations must do in order for them to really achieve competitive advantage with the use of information system is to always be updated, to always get the latest technology if they can, because um, even if they have an information system, if it is like 19 kupong kupong, then it still will become a liability instead of an asset. So that will be all for my report. Thank you for listening.